everyone. This is Neelam Pathak from founding member and CEO for Women in Manufacturing and Allied Sector. And today we have the webinar, WIMA skilling webinar on to generative AI transforming the industry. As we know, as a part of the WIMA, where we have taken a mission to empower 1 million women by 2030 through skilling, mentoring, networking, and connecting and giving them a platform where we work at student level, professional level, and also at the organization levels to help them have more workforce representation of women in the manufacturing and the allied sector. In the same series, today we have the skilling webinar, which is on the generative AI and transforming industry. So, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session on generative AI transforming industries. A conversation that's more relevant now than ever. We are living through a time when generative AI is not just a buzzword. Today, we hear everybody saying that we are using AI. It's a very powerful tool for reshaping how industries think, operate, and grow. From manufacturing plants, automatic design, and detections to the supply chain, leveraging AI for predictive logistics, predictive analytics, and predictive cost models. Not even the manufacturing sector, but even the social sector, where AI is enabling scale, personalization, and outreach and impact assessments. Generative AI is revolutionizing the way we work. So it is transforming how products and services are developed, how decisions are getting made, and how contents and communications and customers' experiences are delivered. So today's session, we will dive into the real world examples with the strategic insights, future possibilities, and helping you understand how to stay ahead in this AI powered evolution. So before we begin, it's my pleasure to introduce to our speaker. Our speaker for this session today is Ms. Lekha Bajpai. Lekha comes with more than 30 years of experience. She is an MTech from BIT Mesera. She is also a green belt into Six Sigma and strategic IT management consultant from Ahmedabad. She has also done her enterprise architecture, a certified process professional of CPP level 2, and over more than 3 decades of experience in technology and leadership in leadership technology. Lekha has been a strategic leader with a focus on driving the digital transformation, process automation, and analytics application using AI and ML, enabling business transformation. She was the managing director and CIO of Kantar IMRB, leading the technology function in APAC and MENA region, and also has worked on delivering technology products and large-scale platforms on data analytics and artificial intelligence. Her experience spans across various industries, including market research, retail, media, supply chain, third-party logistics, manufacturing, civil, and chemical construction. She has worked on cutting-edge technologies, adoption and innovation, including cloud, big data environment, data warehouses, and data lakes to drive business improvements. Expertise spans across IT strategy development and execution, product and application management for large-scale applications and products on mobility, web, and e-commerce, intelligence, business analytics, social and text analytics, chatbot, image analysis, and other AI and ML and deep learning algorithm. She has also been awarded as the innovation leader by World Innovation Congress and has been featured in the multiple magazines as a thought leader in India and other countries. Currently, Lekha serves as the CTO in the WIMA, and we are very pleased to have you, Lekha, today in the session. As I briefed about the AI, and it has a multiple uses, and today everybody talks about this. So over to you, Lekha, and I would like the session now. This Lekha will take the session, and please take it over, Lekha, and please explain our viewers and people who are watching about this. And I also have requests with our viewers. If you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat, and we are going to take all the questions at the end of the session. Thank you, Lekha, and welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Neelam. Long introduction and lot of good things spoken about me, but yes, everything is changing now. So whatever is the past, it need not be. With AI coming in, everything is changing, and that's what we're going to be discussing today in most of our slides. I will share my slide and I will take you through those points. Can you all see my slide?
Yes, Lekha.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So what am I going to cover today is something about the evolution of AI, something from the past also needs to come in, uh, the future trends, how is the adoption of AI being taking place, the demand versus supply in the market, some introductions of some terminologies which are used. I won't spend too much of time on that, but just to give you a perspective, and more focus on the power of generative AI and the use cases. And at the end, we will have some question and answers. Just one thing on this is the focus of this particular webinar is more on the on how AI is adopted within organizations. There is a consumer based AI, which is like all the GPT available, Chat GPT available, and various other things available. So they are more on consumer based AI, means that's consumerization of AI, I would say. But how does it apply to organizations, to MSMEs, to large scale organizations? That's what is important, and how to adopt that. And that's what we will be discussing today. So, from an evolution perspective, uh, AI is not new. I think everyone is aware of it. AI was in start. The birth of AI was in 1950, and it was made by a scientist called Alan Turing, uh, and he got up a Turing test. This was designed to evaluate machines' ability to exhibit intelligent behavior. Now, so Alan Turing is remembered even now. His birthday was there last 2 days back, and I saw in social media it was celebrated. I'm sure it'd be in a bigger way celebrated in US, but it was and US and UK. He was a Britisher basically, so more in UK, and the good part of it is that the Turing test is used even now to assess the ability of an intelligent behavior of AI. After when new things come up, usually adoption becomes a problem. So there was a lot of AI winter at that time. Means not meant much of progress on the intelligent behavior part, but the focus became on problem solving and rule based systems. In the 80s, again the AI dawned. It was called the dawn of the AI, and neural network modeled after human brain was the prime, and in the 80s. In the 90s was the rise of the machine learning, where deep learning, reinforcement learning, all these were had started off, and it was localized to the technical teams mainly. It did not have too much of it had applications, but it was not taken to the business side of it. Tech teams would understand these and use it further. In 2000 was it became the era of big data came in, where data driven AI had come in, and data was became the oil of the industry, and everything revolved around data. Huge amounts of data, huge amounts of processing time, so you needed huge amount, big high processing power. So GPUs were invented at that time. In 2006, speech recognition, image recognition, autonomous vehicles like Siri coming up, and autonomous vehicle algorithms coming up. That's the time when things had started. In 2010, virtual assistant and advanced algorithms had come up. In 2020, that was the era of AI. So this is the time when various industries starting adopting it. Ethical AI and safety regulations were also put up. Going just back to small definitions, machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. It is what does machine learning do? Helps to learn from data, identifies patterns, and makes decisions with minimal human intervention. Machine learning has supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. So, supervised learning is training the machine on a set of labeled data, which means the input data is paired with the desired output. So, if a cat is given, an image of a cat is given, it's mentioned that this cat, this is a cat. So that's the labeling of the data which is being provided. Unsupervised learning, this works on unlabeled data, which means that the input data is not paired with the desired output. The machine learns to find the pattern in it and relates it to the cat. So that's how unsupervised learning works. And then there is reinforcement learning. This is like training a pet to behave, and as the pet does something right, you reward. So that's how you replace the pet with a machine. So you reward the machine, and the machine knows that I'm doing a right task. Coming to the next level of it, which is deep learning. Deep learning is like the human brain, and it's created artificial neural networks that could learn and make intelligent decisions. This is like a synthetic brain which could think like humans, but this is also done at a faster pace. Now, generative AI is a part of deep learning, which has deep learning algorithms, and that helps them to generate high quality text, images, and content based on the data which they are trained on. What is the adoption in worldwide? Now you see there's so much of market expansion which is on AI. Everybody is talking about AI. We are right now on 2025, and you see the US dollars, billion dollars is 243 billion US dollars. That's the market size. By 2023, it will be 826. So the increase is multifold. Everybody is focusing on AI. Let's come to India, and what are the sectors which are using generative AI? So BFSI, technology, FMCG and retail, they are maximum using it. And how is manufacturing using it? Manufacturing is around 28% in India. There's a PwC report which says that in the past 2 years, there's been a rise of AI ML in manufacturing by around 20%. And in manufacturing, the use cases in operations, supply chain, and product development are highly being used. The investment in Gen AI is predicted to increase by 50%, 50 to 100%. So you can see what is the type of focus which even manufacturing is giving to artificial intelligence. CEOs, 84% of them say that this is going to impact their industry. What is the business outcome of it? You can have employee productivity, you'll have business processes, streamlining of business processes, delivering game changing improvements, and all of that at an acceptable cost. Technology outcomes, protect the so from technology standpoint, protection of the organization's data is very important, because that is their own data. The data which is publicly available is available for everyone, but the organization's data is their own data, which they will need to be protected. It should not be going out in the public, and the company should be flexible enough to use various external models also, because everything will not be redeveloped within the internally in the company. Behavioral outcomes of AI is positive behavior and managing the impact on employees. Now, here there is a market leader called Gartner, and they every year they put up their hype cycle for every technology which is there in the market, and it's rightly called the hype cycle because it's the media hype which is created. So when a technology is invented. So there is an innovation, and there is an innovation trigger. So if you see this particular chart, don't go to buy these things right now. I'll just explain the hype cycle first, then I can go to the generative AI. So there is an innovation trigger which happens. So let's say a technology has come up, it rises this curve, and it comes to the top of this, and that is the peak of inflated expectation. So inflated expectations, so that's what we have to focus on. So sometimes the expectations from a technology is probably not realistic, but over the time you actually figure out whether it can be used in this particular way or not. Then finally comes down, it falls because everything is not as per expectation, so it falls down. Then the actual use cases get filtered out, and finally it comes to a plateau of productivity. This is the time when any technology is used to its maximum. So where is generative AI now? See, this is the landscape of generative AI, and in the landscape we have models, we have engineering tools, we have applications, and we have infrastructure and its enablement. Now we will talk about the applications in the next slide, but this is covering all of them. Uh, Now let's see, and this data is of as of 2024. So 2025, I don't have access to it. So this is a little dated, but if we see the rise of it, we'll see large language models is right at the peak. It would have come down a little because it has some certain expectations would not have been met right now. Then if you see autonomous agents is rising up here. We will cover all these topics, but just to understand what it is, we see this part you would be understanding. You would have heard of a lot, Gen AI enabled virtual assistant. So virtual assistant was at a peak some time back, and it's like slightly on the decline because we realize that everything cannot be done. Whatever we had expected AI to do is not everything. The virtual assistant is not able to do. So that's where this is going down. And the way Gen AI products are moving, they're moving within months, because the type of innovations which are happening in this area, within months things are moving up and moving down. So very soon we will see that most of them are coming to the plateau of productivity. But does it mean that we should not be looking at them only when they reach the plateau of productivity? We should. No, it doesn't happen that way. You start looking at innovative technologies at this particular phase, try them out, see how your business will operate on them, and finally, when the technology stabilizes, once it stabilizes here, there will be iterations in the technology which you keep iterating, and you might have a new technology which comes up. So there might be, like we were talking about virtual assistant, and suddenly we have autonomous agents which are on the rise. So you might, certain things which cannot be done by virtual assistant can be done by autonomous agents. Probably that might be the way out. So we have to start using the technology at the initial innovations trigger itself, and finally, once it comes to the plateau of productivity, it will definitely give a lot of productivity to the organization. Before that also the productivity can be seen. Now here I'm showing the applications. Again, if you see virtual assistant, synthetic data, there's a lot of synthetic data which is required and made for training of these algorithms. So synthetic data is also right on top. uh, Augmented software engineering, AI augmented software engineering is evolving to its core now. You can actually use AI to write programs. You can use it for various other aspects. So it's not that programmers will not have a life further, it will be there, but it is aiding them to do things better. So autonomous agents I've spoken about. I will cover all these things a little subsequently, once explaining all the details. Now let's talk about some of the actionable and practical AI, which is AI agents. So everyone says that this is the one which is actually going to bring a positive impact on customer experience. Something like 83% of consumers believe this. So, and this will lead to the future AI systems. What does Satya Nadella say? Says AI agents will become the primary way we interact with computers in future. They will be able to understand our needs and preferences and proactively help us with tasks and decision making. Jeff Bezos says it'll become a digital assistant helping us navigate the complexity of the modern world. So, a lot has been put up on AI agents. Let's see what are AI agents. AI agents act on its own to complete a specified goal. It would be a digital worker which will understand a task, plan what to do, take actions, and also integrate with other tools. AI agents can actually automate tasks like scheduling or simple things like data entry, simple things like going onto a site and getting information from there and multiple sites and assimilating all that information allows, if they are made that way, they can make decisions on their own based on the data which they have collected or which is input to them. uh, it's AI agents can interact with the softwares and various APIs. Now, APIs are application programming interfaces which allow two any two systems to talk to each other. The systems, those could be agents, can be talking to each other, or it could be talking to another software. And so what does is it like a chatbot? Chatbot is responding to a particular task, or you ask a question, chatbot will give its answer. But what does an AI agent do? You ask a question, it'll take the initiative, it'll plan and act, it'll reason out, and it can also act on your behalf. It can be, if you program it that way, if you allow it to be autonomous, it can take the decision and do the activity also. So an example, simple things on from the marketing side, I can say, you want to write articles on social media, you get ideas for so you program the agent to assimilate ideas on this particular topic and write the blog in my style. Okay, so my style is very important. It should not be looking as if somebody else has written it. And sometimes people review it and then put it. Otherwise, you can tell the agent that just post it on Instagram or post it on LinkedIn. That is happening these days, and there's nothing wrong in it because it helps you to do a lot of marketing activities which are required. But how does it work in a factory? A factory AI agent monitors machine data, detects an issue, checks if the spare parts are in stock, alerts maintenance, or it can order parts also. So that's the action which it can do. It can order the part also, and it can also repair, update the logs, and all of this can be programmed to do automatically. Now, do you need every time to be you going to a technical person to say that please make a program for this? No, you don't need to do that now. There are ways to set up AI agents with no code or low code applications. The other type of sort of agent, I wouldn't say completely agent, but custom GPTs are also getting a lot of recognition. Custom GPTs are specified versions of ChatGPT that you can create for specific purposes. Think of them as an AI assistant which is trained for a particular task or for a particular use case. What you can do is upload PDF or manual or various manuals. That is the specialized knowledge which is given to the custom GPT. You can tell the custom GPT not to look at the internet data. Sometimes the internet data might not be what you want to do. You might want to just use your own internal data. And if there is a question asked, it can answer like, you go to ChatGPT and say, can you give me details about this particular thing? Can you make a plan for me? Can you act on it? And so all those things you can ask the custom GPT also to do. It will not be able to act on it. That's the only thing, but it can give you a lot more information. It can also chat with your customers, and you can make it to do various things, and you can put in a lot of guardrails. When I say guardrails, it is a boundary which you define for the custom GPT, and say that you can only should only work in this particular environment. You if you wanted to go outside and get information, that also can be done. If you want it only for your company internally, that also can be done. So custom GPT is your knowledgeable helper. It's a smart assistant that answers well when asked. And agent AI is your AI agent is your action taking co-worker, autonomous worker that figures out what to do next. Okay, so that's the action taking part, is the AI agent. And one agent, there can be multiple agents which can be used, and one agent gives information to the next agent, and the next to the next, and multiple ways, and they an entire workflow can be made, an entire automation can be made using these agent AI agents. But for all of this, there are issues, there are ethics which need to be followed, and we know that bias and discrimination is one of the biggest flaws which is there in the generative AI models. Generative AI, they have been it is based on whatever data they have been trained on, whatever data is available on the internet, they've been trained on that. And so as when generative AI started off, the insurance agencies in US um, were not giving, and they used AI for Gen AI for suggestions, which for whether the loan application can be passed. So all the blacks and all women were not getting their insurance policies were not getting passed at all. That's because the data was not available, and this is initially when it had started off. Of course, after that there was a lot of data which was provided, and now we see that for India also. Sometime back we were seeing it for India. If you're trying to create an image, you will not get a proper image for India. Now things have changed, and those type of images are still coming up. So the more you train the data, the bias and the discrimination gets reduced. Disinformation and deep fakes, this is one of the ethics which is actually creating issues that blurs the line between reality and fabrication. So whatever data outputs you're getting from Gen AI, you should evaluate it before putting it up. It should not be directly put up without unless it is something which you're sure that the data is your own and it will not impact anything. um, there is a lot of copyright and intellectual property which is available, which data is subject to. And if you're using that without any intelligence, then not you allowing human intelligence, then I think we you might get into legal issues. uh, Plagiarism is a big problem on Gen AI, and there are tools actually which can also help you in plagiarism checks. We don't want to get into legal issues, hence um, that is suggested. So the plagiarism part of it, there are plagiarism tools which are available. So there is a GPT zero which is available, Chat GPT detector, Turnitin, Copy Leaks. These are some tools which are available for plagiarism checks, and there would be many more. I'm just naming a few. Chat GPT, sorry, GPT zero is one of the good ones, and Turnitin, of course. Turnitin is used a lot in education side, where students create essays using Chat GPT and put it up. Privacy and data security, of course, is one of the major risks which are there and needs to be addressed. You should not have any data leaks which should be there using these. You should not put in any data which is sensitive. Uh, and accountability for every individual is there. So if you are using AI for certain things, you should always disclose that you have used AI. AI governance platforms is going to be coming up. This is another prediction by Gartner. And all these things which we have said before about ethics, we need to trust on the AI which is giving the results. So for just writing letters and writing articles and all, this is fine. But if you have to do certain activities within your organization, on your maintenance activities, or on the in the factories, it should be trustworthy information itself. So the check on making it accountable, fair, private, and transparent. So transparency is a very big aspect of AI. Most of the models uh, have a less amount of transparency, and that's where things are going to improve, so that people can have more trust on the AI which is there. There would be some certifying authorities which will say that this particular platform is trustworthy, and you can blindly trust this model and blindly take it further. What are the challenges? We spoke about some of the challenges. One of the major ones is the technical implementation. So, though we say that anyone can use Gen AI tools, uh, but still there is, when you're using it within your organization, there is a technical implementation which a right technical information with all these aspects which I explained earlier, that should be there, and that is a challenge, and people are getting educated about it, and the technical teams are getting educated about it, and the others also getting educated about it. So all that is happening. Cost of running, so everything is moved to the cloud, so cost of running these generative AI initiatives is high. So that is a challenge. Talent availability is a big challenge. People have to be skilling themselves to get to use these aspects. Uh, Governance, I spoke about, availability of data. Now, if you're just banking on data which is available on the internet, then those models are not which you are going to adopt for your organization. If you have your own data, or you have collected some data from various sources, and that is your data, that is the actual data where your models will be useful to the organization. Some of the bias and fairness issues I spoke about, hallucination, which was one of the things earlier. AI hallucinates. So you have to look at what is the type of input which is provided to it. Based on that, hallucinations can be avoided. You give it more data to avoid hallucinations. One big other thing, finding the right use case, and within organization adoption because of some cultural resistance might be a challenge also for certain organizations. Security is definitely required, where deepfake detection, reputation protection, impersonation prevention, all of this needs to be looked at. I will skip too much technical in this, so I'm not going to cover anything. Now, the demand and supply of AI skilled talent. So there's a high demand in the market. All industries want to take AI skilled talent, but availability of talent is low. Some only 17 to 20% AI talent is available. And when I'm talking about AI talent, it could be technical talent, it could be other talent also, which we will discuss subsequently. What are the type of roles, the shift in roles and the shift in skills which are coming up? Evolving roles are, so we earlier used to have product managers, project managers, engineers, designers. They're all getting skilled in AI. So they have to understand the aspects of AI so that they can suggest better practices to adopt AI. Data scientists, data analysts, they were there, but with AI, they will need to be doing much more. New roles which are coming up is a chief AI officer, a CTO with AI, CIO with AI. A big new thing which has come up is a role called prompt engineer. AI prompt engineer. Now, prompt engineer is an absolute new role, and how to write and design prompts for the GPTs to perform well. Another new one coming up, which has come up, is AI ethics and compliance officer, AI and ML governance specialist, because it does need all of that also, and LLM ops or AI ops is another new aspect which is coming up. So, how is the infrastructure behind these tools running, and how can it be set up, and how can it be made functional, and how it can be done at a lower cost? Not used, if you just do it blindly, you might face a lot of credits on your subscriptions. And the other bigger one which is coming up is on as a AI generalist. And this is for people in every field, will be whoever they are, they will need to become AI generalists who will solve problems using AI. They should have an understanding of AI models and know which model to use for which problem. So they are problem solvers using AI. In an organization, you have business critical skills, which is the core business strategy, the role specific skills, core soft skills, and technical skills. Now, technical skills does not mean only for developers. Technical skills is required for everyone in the organization, and you need to every role will be influenced by this, and it will be disrupted. So we need to be prepared for this. For this you need a robust skilling program. So to organizations, the suggestion is stop seeking upskilling as a cost center. Stop seeing upskilling as a cost center. It is a value creator, because that is what is going to be the future. Just some small definitions. I know nobody likes definitions, but I just need to tell you this so that it makes my other slides better. So, LLMs, you've heard of large language models. I don't think I need to. I can get into a lot of details into this, but I'm not getting into details on this. Just small thing that they are neural network techniques which does tasks like generating text, machine translation, summary writing, image generation, coding, also helping in coding, chatbots, conversational AI, and all of this. And what are these LLMs? OpenAI has all the GPTs. You have GPT o4 mini, o3, 4.1, 4.5. You have Sora. Sora is for video. OpenAI is Sora. That's wonderful, actually. It gives you past videos, futuristic videos, wonderful ones there. Gemini by Google, that's coming up, has developed in a very big way, and it's excellent to use. Claude by Anthropic. Claude is so everyone has their own capabilities. So Claude is used a lot for research work, and there are two others which I'm talking about here, which is you've heard of OpenAI, Gemini, Claude, but these are open source ones, which is Qwen 3 and Grok 3. So these ones are they're very good for research. They give you a lot of reasoning on why doing this particular activity. If they have sorry if they have selected some if they have given you a write up on certain things, they will tell you why they have given, not only giving references to certain things, but even describe to you why this is happening. So I like Quen a lot. I use Quen 3 a lot. Grok, of course, everyone is talking about it. And there are a lot of use cases on using Grok also, which right now we are not covering. We will probably get into details of it subsequently sometime. We spoke about prompt engineering. Now, this is a new discipline which has come up, and there are prompt engineers which are coming up. But what is prompt engineering? So, what data you give to a large language model is the type of output you get. So, you prompt a large language model saying that give me summarize this particular text. You get the summarization. You say I want a poem to be written in this particular style, it will give you that poem. You say certain keyword based on semantic similarities, it will give you those keyword structure. And there is prompt engineering is a whole vast aspect. I'm only giving you one slide of it, so I'm just telling you about one thing which probably you can use in other ways also. There is a template for feeding the prompt, which is called a markdown prompt template. And what you see here is the aspects of the template, of the markdown prompt template. You define a role. If you're asking GPT or you're asking any of the LLMs, you define what you want. You define the role which the GPT has to play. You define the objective. You give it a context and give it instructions. You can give it notes. So in the instructions, you can say, I want a guardrail for this particular activity, or I want some negative prompts. I don't want to use you to use this, or whatever. So as I said, it's a complete engineering which is probably taught in a few months. But just for your benefit, you can actually do anything and everything with prompts now. And that is what the uh, and that is why actually prompt engineering has taken up a very big aspect, because with these certain type of templates, there are multiple templates, there are multiple frameworks in prompt engineering, and what to use when, that's different. But currently this markdown prompt template is something which you can use for future. Now, when you give a prompt to a LLM, what happens? How does the LLM recognize that? It tokenizes every aspect which is there. So that's the first step of NLP, the natural language processing. So let's see this particular prompt which I gave to GPT 4o and 4 mini. I can do check it for various others also. The way others actually have a higher time taken and all also. So if I write a prompt that give me a email inviting the industry leaders to join generative, so I give it a long prompt. Now you see it is converted to tokens and it is converted to characters. So this 132 tokens, so this is the way it is split it up, if you see. And these 132 tokens is based on this, you will be charged. Your subscription would be charged this particular thing. Approximately so, and but how does the machine store this information? How does it recognize? It cannot read these words, so it's converting these tokens into IDs, token IDs. So all of this is numbers, so every aspect of it is converted to a number. Then there are various things of how one word is related to another word and in what context and all of that. So those have different and many more things which can be explained, but this is just to explain to you how things are stored. And why I want to explain this to you is also because you will be charged on the various tokens which are being used. So ideally it is 100 tokens is equal to 75 words. Let me go a little fast. Diffusion models, I won't take too much time on this. Diffusion, this is used for image generation. And what happens in this is an image is taken, it is destroyed with noise. This dot, 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 what you see is noise. It is destroyed with noise and then finally reconstructed. This is how a diffusion model works, which is used for image generation and audio synthesis. Some of the general purpose ones, use cases, how do you talk to AI is through prompt engineering and prompt design. The day-to-day office work, which is writing an email, you can do automations for that also. Um, an email comes and you can reply back if they are not important, if it's not from somebody special, you can send it back. Or if it is a regular thing which is coming, you can say, oh, please reply to it and send it back. You can do research for a project, you summarize PDFs, multiple PDFs also, and you can chat with those multiple PDFs. Let it pick up information from across all those PDFs instead of you reading through all of that. You can visualize your data. You have large huge data. Let's say you have machine generated data. You can use that machine generated data. A programmer will take 1 week, 10 days, 15 days to make your dashboards. With generative AI, you can make your dashboards in a few minutes. You can summarize a document. You can summarize, you can talk with a, you can summarize a chat, YouTube video and chat with it also. Generate AI images and videos. You can compose music, compose poems, create a clone of yourself. This is being used a lot in marketing. People are creating clones of themselves, giving their voice, your image, your voice, and it will create videos on its own and launch the campaigns. Uh, Advertising of your, you can create complete advertisement of your product for manufacture. After manufacturing, you can have your product launches. You can create your own portfolio of a website of your own in few minutes. You might not be able to create large scale applications right now, but that's also probably coming in the near future. So what we are trying to say is, all the numbers which we spoke about earlier was plus AI. We want people to change to AI plus, because what we were doing is we have an application and we embed AI into it. We add AI to it and make it work. We need to think differently in an AI first way. So, like the mobile first had come up, there was technical designs which have to be put in the mobile first. Similarly, technical designs have to be put in the AI first also. What is the success of AI? Models, data, governance, and use cases. And now we've added assistants and agents also. Okay, if you don't have the data, your models are, or your AI is not going to succeed. Pillars for success is the generative AI, the engineering, and the design. But what is most important is the talent, the culture, and the governance within the organization to have an effective AI implementation. Okay, let me just go through faster. Now, here what you see is Gartner has given a tool to map out your AI ambition. And here I'm showing you only the manufacturing one, because I'm assuming that most of the people are from manufacturing. Um, so what you see here is this chart, uh, which says the front office, the product and services, the core capabilities, and the back office. These are all applications in that particular area. External facing, customer facing, internal operations, everyday AI, and game changing AI. So let's take a core capability. Now in manufacturing, now, okay, what is inside in this circle? This is high impact, this is medium impact, and this is low impact. So if I say from front office, let's say avatar generation is talked about high impact. Customer self service is medium impact. Okay, yeah. So this is just an illustration. Okay, so this is how Gartner is just explaining this particular tool. But with this, you can map out your AI ambition for, you can build your strategy for it, and then look at how you can take it further. So like um, robots for hazardous conditions for the core capabilities. Okay, workforce training, designed to make processes. So these are just some examples. Please don't take this as this is the only use cases for AI in manufacturing, but this is how Gartner has built this tool, which will help you to actually take it further. There are a lot more things on this, but I'm just giving you this as an example on how mapping of ambitions are done. Now, coming to the main thing where everyone wants to hear about the use cases. So, 80% of manufacturing organizations consider machine generated events to be the most valuable AI application. What does it do? There are lots of machines which are IoT based, sensor based. They are giving out data. All of that is getting collected into one environment where, looking at that data, you can predict on the failure of a particular machine. So it can say that in the next few weeks, this is going to fail. So what do you need to do? It gets monitored. Certain aspects get monitored, like temperature, vibration, sound, and various things, whatever is relevant to that particular machine. And it can predict the potential failure. This will help to reduce downtime, reduce costs also, because downtime is related directly to costs. The quality control is another use case where you can actually provide images of a product which were defective in the past, And based on those images, during the manufacturing stage, the product, the Gen AI can predict that this particular product will be defective, looking at the images which have been fed into it. So, if the images were incorrect, of course, it will be false alarms. But quality control is being used in various aspects with these images. Customer service automation, I thought always that customer service automation would be the highest use case in manufacturing, but no, it was machine generated event monitoring. So customer service automation, of course, everyone is aware about it, having bots which can talk to uh, value added customers and give them an experience that you're talking to a bot. So you're getting your issues resolved. Talking to a bot is not what somebody likes to do, but the bot is disguised in such a way that people realize after a long time that they were talking to a bot. Um, so production planning and inventory management. Uh, Here we see that the generative AI models can predict the demand, help build optimization in the inventory levels, and it can give more accurate production schedules and optimize inventory levels. Some of the other ones, I'm just putting in some 4 or 5 of them. There are many, many more, but just a 4 or 5 of them. So what happens in this? Knowledge automation and expert assistance can be built. What does it do? Answers questions using technical manuals, SOPs, or training documents. So, how do you use it? A worker asks, how do I recalibrate machine X? GenAI gives instant accurate steps from the manual. The other one is predictive maintenance insights. It analyzes historic data, sensor inputs, and maintenance logs to predict equipment failures. So, how do you use it? GenAI identifies that a motor is likely to fail within a week based on vibration patterns and suggests preventive actions. Quality control and defect analysis. What does it do? Here, reviews images, logs, or sensor data to detect product defects, which we spoke about. And the AI flags visual defects in real time on assembly line and generates defect summary report automatically. Supply chain optimization, which can forecast demands, predict delays, suggest inventory adjustments. The Gen AI recommends increasing the raw material orders for the next month based on the demand trends and supplier lead times. Product product design and prototyping. It's being used for in that where engineers use Gen AI to generate 5 different lightweight versions of machine parts and simulate the performance. Real-time decision support can be done also. It supports operators and managers by summarizing real-time plant data and suggesting next steps. Okay, so production drops unexpectedly. Gen AI analyzes shift logs and sensor data and recommends adjusting the conveyor's speed. Okay, so these are just a few. There are many, many more. And with this, actually, I wanted to, I have explained what I wanted to do on the Gen AI side of it. Now, I wanted to launch a few expert courses on Gen AI through WIMA. We are launching 3 different courses on generative AI. One is generative AI for leaders. This is a 20 hours weekend course. We can customize it based on two weekends, or it depends on the people who are interested. Or we can have full 2 days and we can finish it off. With this will be all having a lot of use cases, lot of hands-on workshop will be there, and what you will see is how we can use prompts only to actually come up to a lot more decision factors. We can have for leaders. What is interesting is the AI strategies. How what should be there? What should the future of work? How do you relate to that? How does somebody in the competition? How does that work out? How do you do your marketing, product launches, your portfolios? What are the products and tools? So this will be all hands-on workshop. What are the products and tools you should use for all of this? And we'll have a capstone project which will actually for the specific domain you would be working on. The next one which we're launching is generative AI in supply chain and procurement. Uh, Again, the duration is 20 hours over the weekend. What Here the focus will be on supply chain and manufacturing and procurement. There'll be a lot of hands-on workshop again in this. Uh, there'll be tools and technologies which will be used, how to build your workflows within your organizations for uh, your automations, for your supply chain workflows, and of course there'll be capstone projects which we will be working in all of this. I missed out one thing. What you carry back is not only the knowledge of gen AI use and the tools which we will be teaching you, but also some free stuff. You will be getting a lot of free stuff on how do you use prompts for various other activities, and there'll be a lot of tool guides also which we will provide you. The third one is a launch of generative AI in social sector. Again, this is the same type. We will be having everything focused on social sector, on how what would be the impact from in the social sector, and how do you measure all of that? How do you have measure the activities done for equity and inclusion, and various case studies in the social sector, and how are people using it in at places. Okay, so that's all from me. Back to you.
Thank you, Lekha. Can we have the slide closed, please?
Yeah, I have closed it. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Lekha. I believe you have covered quite the thing in a lot of detail. And in fact, I was looking at the questions that we had received into the registration and also a few questions which has been given by our live audience. So, naturally we covered about the tools. A few of the questions that came earlier that, what are the different tools that can be used in the production or operational efficiencies. So I saw that one slide that you have covered, that you have already mentioned into it, because I believe it also depend on the organization and what kind of data that or result we wanted to take it up and what kind of uses it. I mean, correct me if my
absolutely
understanding
right.
is
Absolutely right.
surely. And I believe it's very good that, what you have shown about, because we do consider that AI application in the various sector has its own definite, it's not that, okay, one is about the basic learning what AI is and how application is, but we through our skilling program wanted to take it to next level, that where we wanted to be very targeted and very focused for the sector. Like when we are talking about AI for leaders, that's where the how the leaders can use it for decision making. But when we are talking about AI for social sector, which is like how can even the impact measurement can be done using the AI tools, or social sector, or impact sector, or the NGOs, or the social enterprises who are working into this, how can they include AI and improve their overall operational efficiency of their organization? And I believe the one which where you have also given the use cases for manufacturing and supply chain and procurement, that is going to be the one where I understand a lot of our viewers who are watching us today, a lot of use cases that we want to take, because we wanted to put and show the use case practical applications of this. And that's where you already told them. So I have few questions which we have got through our initially people who had registered, who had registered with us, Lekha. And let me ask you, I mean, actually, we are over the time. We just over the time, but let me still ask few questions. So one was that this is coming from the MSME industries. That what are some practical ways where medium and small industries they can integrate generative AI into their customer service operations or the supply chain, part of it.
Yeah, so there are lots and lots of things where customer service and especially we say that MSMEs um, have will not be able to use a certain part of technology. It's not that. So whatever I spoke about, uh, customer service is one of the highest used use case of AI. Though I spoke about more on the machine generated data, but that's probably the volumes which speak. But customer service is definitely a very good one, good use case, and MSMEs, many MSMEs are using it. A lot of agentic AI and custom GPTs are being used for that. Agent AI is AI agents. I wouldn't say agent AI. I keep saying that, but AI agents are being used a lot for customer service, a lot more. So, and it is the type of data which you want to give to it. And what I want to also say is that not everything is with programming. You don't need to do programming for all of this. You can do all of this with just simple no code tools, low code tools also. So I believe you should come and register for one of our programs, and I'll take you through all of them, and you can construct your own customer service bot.
Thank you, Lekha. In fact, there's one more question, and this question is how some of the non-tech professionals, and when I am referring to non-tech here, the people are talking about who are not from the IT industry or from the AI industry, can prepare themselves for the generative AI. How can they learn onto that? So I also want you to specifically like, it's not something where non-tech or they can't learn, but I want your inputs, how they should prepare to understand more on generative AI applications for their areas.
So so when I spoke about in this entire presentation, everything was about non-tech only, not nothing, only that one slide where roles were defined. That's where there were some technical roles also defined, but people have to get trained by doing some skillings on either they do skilling on their own, or they register for some programs and they need to skill up. Doing it on, what I have understood is, doing it on your own takes a longer time, and if you register on some platforms, some courses, it makes you fast, means your skilling is faster and you can use it much more. And not only for the use cases which are there for your organization, it could also help you to increase productivity for yourself. You might should not be spending so much of time in making presentations and making scripts for various stuff. So it will help you personally also. And best is to register for some course somewhere.
I think the fear more comes here, like people might have this thinking that they have code, while which I also want to say, like based on even I consider myself as a non-tech person, that one can do a lot. There are so you don't need to code nowadays. There are agent AI agents available which can. You just need to know the right prompt, I believe.
Absolutely.
Lika, correct me onto that.
Absolutely.
When
Absolutely.
you, so if you know the right prompt, you can create an AI tool, and even a non-tech people can start using it. But
And
like
another thing,
yeah,
when we say prompts, prompt is like you give a prompt, small prompt, you'll get some answer. But what you want the Gen AI to do, or the GPT to do, is to give you something which is very accurate and very not hallucinated, not with problems as such. And that is why this role of prompt engineering has come up. And prompt engineering is all for non-technical people. It's not necessary to be a technical person. In fact, technology people are also understanding all these things to actually see how they can use it. So some part of the coding also can be done, not everything, but some part of it can be done by Gen AI tools. So those are all um,
thank you,
skilling which is
Lika.
needed.
Yes. Actually, you have covered a lot of the question that has come as a part of it. So, people have talked about the use cases in manufacturing, which you have already shown. People have, in fact, few questions about the ethics into using the AI, which you have already shown. So that's why I'm not repeating that. And since we have already over the time by 5 minutes, I again have a request to all our viewers that, as Lekha mentioned about the three courses that we are launching through WIMA platform. One is the generative AI for leaders, generative AI for social sector, and also generative AI for supply chain and procurement people. So if you are interested, as I said, we are going to be very, very focused with the practical use cases and application of this. And if you are interested to take up these courses, kindly write back to us. We are also going to be floating the registrations for these courses so they can register with us. And we are expecting to start these courses from end of August or September approximately. So we will share more details about these courses to you, and surely do write back to us onto this. Lekha, any last comment you wanted to tell about our users onto about Gen AI? I believe now it is going even
I
the
have
further
spoken
step.
a lot, and I usually tend to go overboard on it, and that's a nascent problem which I have, trying to overcome it. But I always spill out on time, so I'm sorry about that. But I would want all of you to actually spend some time and learn AI, Gen AI. It's the future. This is where everybody is heading towards, and you will benefit a lot from these programs. You like these programs? If not, then there are other programs you could also do that, whichever way. But it would be the best of for everybody's interest to get onto a program and learn.
Thank you, Lekha. Thank you for sharing a detailed, at least information session on generative AI, its application, its uses, and so many things. Even, in fact, for me also, I learned a lot, especially about some of the tools that you had shown and about the ethics part of it. And thank you again to all our viewers who are watching us. And surely, thanks again and have a great day. Thank you, Lekha. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelam. Thank you, everyone, for attending.